What is going on? Welcome to Just Your Average Joe. I'm your host. My name is Drew. I ain't no turkey. I am the most average Joe of them all. Like I said, my name is Drew, and the first thing I always do is give thanks to God for letting me be here today. Speaking of thanks, we should be giving more of it. We should be giving thanks to God every day for all of our blessings. When we wake up in the morning, we should say, Lord, thank you for letting me live another day. Thank you, Lord, for letting me sleep in a bed, for letting me have a roof over my head, for me to have a way of transportation. We should be thanking Him for every little thing. He does so many wonderful things for me. If y'all watch this channel at all, you know that I just got back. I just got back from a trip to a dealer show in Louisiana, which I'm going to tell you a story about that, about my trip. And I'm going to put up some video, just, some little clips, snippets I took along the way to let you see how my trip went. you know me and the situation with this car. If you watch the channel at all, I bought this Mustang, had a supercharger on it. I prayed about it before I bought it. Felt like that God gave me the go-ahead to go ahead and buy it. So I bought it. The whole time I've had it, it's been tore up. Not that it didn't run, I was just trying to get it to where it ran well with the supercharger. They just had it rigged up to just barely work. And I just wanted it to run right. It didn't have any more power at all. Maybe even less power than what it would have had without the supercharger. So I knew that the tune wasn't right. First thing I did, took it next door to the garage, go through all the check engine lights and fix the problems with the motor. And, you know, sensors and all that. Well, he did all that, and it was better, but it still wasn't right. So I had to call around everywhere, every state surrounding us. I called so many places trying to find somebody who would tune this car with this supercharger. Nobody would touch it because it's a 1999 Cobra Mustang. They said they wouldn't tune something that old unless it had a Holly system on it, which is probably $5,000 or more to put on there. So I called and finally found somebody in South Carolina that would do it. Well, I took it down there. They put some sensors and stuff on it because they wasn't right and tuned it. They got over 100 more horsepower out of it. Well, and I have a point to all this too. The cold start, the car ran great, but the cold start was terrible. When you would start the car up, it would take it 10 or 15 minutes to warm up. You couldn't drive it anywhere. I mean, if you did drive it somewhere and you turned off the switch and you turned it back on, it was going to take 10 or 15 minutes to find its idle. It could not find its idle. When it finally found its idle, though, it would run great. So I messaged the guy back. I only had it and it costed me $2,400. I only had it back for maybe a week and a half. And I messaged the guy back. I said, dude, this ain't gonna cut it, man. I said, I ain't too hard to get along with. I said, but I can't even go get gas. I was like, if I go to get gas, I have to go in the morning when nobody's there when they first open up, because I know the car's gonna have to sit there at the pump for 10 or 15 minutes before I can drive it away. Because if you tried to drive it before it found its idle, it would sputter and die. But anyway, so I told him, I was like, this ain't gonna work. We're gonna have to do something. You know, something's gonna have to give here. We'll have to bring it back. He said, okay, we'll bring it back. Well, that was September or October of last year. So the car sat there for over 8 months. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, I'd kind of wondered and questioned a little bit. I was like, God, why did you want me to buy this car? And it's been tore up the whole time I've had it. And how come this guy is not, you know, working on it? And I've talked about it many times on the video. I didn't know if the Lord was trying to teach me patience or what. I was like, I know that I feel like you wanted me to buy the car and there's a reason for it, but I don't know. I don't understand. But I just said, well, maybe it's to teach me patience. So I'm going to be patient. I'm not going to lose my temper. I'm just going to, you know, deal with it and try to have peace about it. So that's what I did. Time went on, and I would message him about once a month and say, hey, you're going to be able to fix my car this month, or how's things going? He'd always have one excuse or another. But anyway, so we were down there. We had planned on, went through Atlanta on the way there. We ran into a whole bunch of traffic. So on the way back, my wife said, we're going to go around Georgia we're going to go around Atlanta. We're going to go through Tennessee. It's only going to add 30 minutes to our trip, and we'll probably make up the time in the long run because we won't get stuck in Atlanta traffic. Well, the guy messages me the day before we come back and says, hey man, your car's ready. So I told my wife, I says, we're going to have to go through South Carolina because we got to get my car. Because it's an hour and a half away from here. So if we had came back here and went and got it later, it'd take 3 hours to go get it and come back. But it was just 30 minutes out of our way to just go ahead and go get it on the way back. But we was going to have to go through Atlanta. So, of course, my wife was not happy with this. She tried to talk me into just going through Tennessee and then we'll go get it some other day. And I said, no, that's dumb. Let's just go ahead and get it. So that's what we did. We went through Atlanta. We got stuck in traffic for probably an hour and a half. But we went and we got the car. Well, when we got back home, my wife, you know, we was looking at the weather and stuff on the way back or before we left. We got back home, my wife showed me a video of the highway washing out and a big rock slide coming down the mountain in Tennessee. In the Tennessee-North Carolina border. And she said, you know what? If we hadn't went and got your car, we would have been right there whenever that mudslide happened. And I was like, you know, I got cold chills, and I said, do you think that the Lord set all that up? That he set it all up to where he would get done with my car right before we come back from Louisiana, and that would make us have to go there instead of going through Tennessee and getting hit with that mudslide. Not saying we would have got hit, but we at least got stuck in it. And she said, you know what, I really do think so. My wife's not one to believe. She believes in God and everything, but she thinks he's got better things to do than to watch after what I've got going on. But I really do think that he did that. I honestly do believe that he worked it out that way. And it runs great. You know, I started up, warms right up. Even if it's cold, it only takes like 2 minutes. The car's running fantastic. Is that why God wanted me to get that car? I don't know, but he sure as heck worked it out so that it would keep us from being there when that rock slide happened. That's going to be it for me for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep on keeping on and have you good.